Yes, you read the title right. Stoner Taliyah has been given an evolution, an upgrade, and a very, very cool upgrade at that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Stoner Taliyah, it is a build that I had theorized in the Snapshot series. Season 1, Episode 1, by the way. You should go watch it. It's a brand new series that I made for TFT. It is, I think, up here in this corner. I'll put a little info card. I think I say that again in the actual VOD recording, but there's no chance in hell I'm re-recording that shit. That was half an hour long. Suck my dick. I might mention it again. I'm not going to put a second info card up there. Just ignore me at that time, okay? Anyways. The point is, Stoner Taliyah has been given an upgrade, and a very cool upgrade at that. And I don't want to spoil anything for you. I want you to go watch this commentary with me and watch Jukyu. By the way, one of North America's representatives for Worlds. He just makes the board better. He just made it better. I can't even be like, oh, like I claim this comp now. Like I was like, oh, Stoner Taliyah, that's like my shit. Like I make the comp. Nah, Jukyu, like he made the comp. He put it together. It's so finessed perfectly that I just want you guys to just watch this with me and have a good time. This is, in case you haven't realized, this is not an episode of Snapshots. Snapshots is a separate series, but don't worry, we still have our daily videos in between, and that's what today's video is. Anyways, let's get on to today's video and watch Jukyu masterclass, and just, I was gonna say masterclassfully, and that was just not a word, but oh my god, it's just so cool. I'm forcing the shit out of this comp, by the way, and you should too. It's super, super fun. It's super, super fun to play. It's a very first or eighth comp. But anyways, I digress. Fuck! I said it again. Sorry. Let's just get on to the video. Cool. So here we are. We are inside of Jukyu's game. This is, again, taken from the Set 9 PBE servers. This is not from the live servers. At the time of recording, this is June 4th. This was taken from last night, June 3rd. Over the weekend, where even though there are no changes being made over the weekend, this is PBE. A lot of things are going to change. A lot of things are going to be different once things come out on the live server. But nonetheless, doesn't mean we can't take some ideas, take it from PBE games, and try to apply them once the rank climb starts, once Set 9 is on to the live servers. Now, you might notice that there actually are some interesting names in this lobby as well. This is an in-house Set 9 lobby. Garchomp is the name that really sticks out to me. I think Tarzan as well, but I could be wrong. But Garchomp in particular, I do notice him because he is also a fellow TFT YouTube content creator. You should go subscribe to him. He makes very good guides. But nonetheless, this is a decently high-level lobby, or at least these two are. And Jukyu, as we all know, was one of the representatives for Worlds from North America. So super great to know that he's actually also a Taliyah enjoyer. In fact, the name of his stream title was Hard Forcing Taliyah. So obviously, he's also really interested in the cool mechanic of how Taliyah can sort of interact with the knockups and how she deals damage based off those and yada yada yada. I will say there is no game audio just because he was playing some copyrighted music and the VOD contained the copyrighted music. There's nothing I could do about it. Anyways. Going into 2-1 hero augments, as we can see, his legend is in fact Tom Kench. We get Rich Get Richer, Indomitable Will, and Magic 1. Magic 1 from this spot, I think, is pretty ass. You just don't want to you don't necessarily have to commit to the AP line. You could slam Gunblade plus Bow, and that actually opens up the AD lines and options as well. But it's not, I don't think we're like super tryharding. I think we're just hard forcing Taliyah, trying to figure out what's most optimal. So I think from this spot, we'll probably just end up taking Rich Get Richer. Indomitable Will is actually one of the newer augments as well. It's a really nice augment, actually. They basically when a unit gets a takedown, they shed all negative effects and become immune to crowd control for 6 seconds. So if you think you're going to win streak, Indomitable Will is actually an incredibly strong augment, and actually probably going to be one of the stronger augments coming into the set once, once people have sort of gotten a better feel for the set. But anyways, as we can tell, we take Rich Get Richer, and we are just hard forcing Taliyah. Now, the Taliyah build, the Stoner Taliyah build, as you may remember or not, if you did not watch Season 1, Episode 1 of Snapshots, my new YouTube series, which is the YouTube video that I released before this, but I'll link it in a little info card up on the top right. You can't see my hand, but it's going to go all the way to the top right. But it's really good. The Taliyah build is super fun. Not the video. I mean, the video is good too. But like the Taliyah build is fucking hilarious. And basically, I had theorized that you could run a 3-star Taliyah with 3-star set as your front line. The idea being that 3-star set will keep knocking up units, and Taliyah will just keep shooting out her rocks because based off her passive. And actually, I will probably pull it up on the screen so you can actually get to read it. But the way that her ability works is that you are able to throw stones at units whenever they get knocked up. And her actual like ability is her just knocking up units. It's not even a damaging ability. So she has some pretty cool interactions with units like Yasuo, units like the set, Kisante, and it's really, really cool to see how, you can utilize these knockups on your comp, try to throw them onto your board in many different ways to try to utilize your passive as much as possible. Now, again, I thought 3-star set was sort of the go-to line because he's also a 2-cost. He is a Juggernaut, so he's not like a super tank, but he is tanky. But nonetheless, it didn't feel that good. I have played it a couple times with the board, and I was like, you know what? It's a cool concept. I don't really see though it working out because it's just not that strong. It's just you lose too much HP in the early game, and then by the time you get the 3-star set going and the 3-star Taliyah going, it feels like you're just going fast 8th because it's just not tanky enough. And it's just not enough frontline to really justify the investment cost of all the HP and all the gold that you spent into 3-starring these units. Plus, on top of that, the board is a little wonky because you end up with 2-star Warwick and maybe like a 3-star Swain or whatever. It doesn't feel very good. So I had sort of put Reroll Taliyah on the back burner for now because I was like, maybe somebody will come up with a better version of the Taliyah board. And actually, Juke, I don't know where he found this thing, but this is a fucking spicy ass variation of the Taliyah board, and it's much better than my own variation. So that's what we're gonna be watching here. As we can see, he has the Bastion frontline, and he has the Taliyah and the Yordles actually with the Tristana as well. And you know, Bastion's one of those really good early game frontlines. It's sort of the go-to frontline right now for the early game because Maokai 2, Poppy 2 is just very, very solid. Much tankier than a 2-star Cho'Gath with a 2-star... Who's the other bruiser? I already forgot. But I'm sure there's a 1-cost bruiser somewhere in the set. Maybe there's not. I don't remember. But I mean, I know Vi's a 2-cost, but she's alright. Anyways, but regardless, the Bruiser frontline and the Bastion frontline are the two sort of go-to frontlines in general. There is also a Galio frontline with Demacia, and then you can maybe try to get that Radium item going on one of your main tanks. But nonetheless, regardless, Bastion is sort of the go-to flex, if you will. And then usually people flex their backline units and then try to play from there. Sometimes you'll even see people just opting completely out of frontline, playing Rogue, which is the assassins of the set, which is, you know, fine as well. As you can see here, he has not actually leveled at all throughout all of stage 2. Now, why is this the case? Usually, when you don't level during stage 2, it means that you are trying to play for a 1-cost reroll. 1-cost reroll, but Taliyah is a 2-cost. Kai, Taliyah is a 2-cost. I thought reroll Taliyah. This isn't, what are we doing? What are we rerolling for? Surely it's not Maokai 3, right? Surely not Maokai 3. It's not. But, like I said before, Bastion's a very, very reliable frontline, and actually, Juke does this really interesting thing here. He starts rolling a little bit here. Why is he rolling here? Well, he has Rich Get Richer, so rolling is fine. But he's rolling for 1-cost. But what 1-cost are you looking for in particular? We are looking for Poppy 3. And we are looking for Tristana 3. Which sounds absolutely fucking nuts. Why are we playing Reroll Taliyah with Reroll Yordles and reroll Poppy as a frontline? Well, sure, you might be going, oh, well, like Poppy 3 is like a really strong frontline, but like Taliyah is a 2-cost and Poppy is a 1-cost. Wouldn't you want to reroll on 6 instead of rerolling a 5? What's going on here? Well, we'll talk about it just a little bit. Here we get Balanced Budget, Capricious Forge, and You Have My Bow. I don't think these 1-component augments are very good. I think they're okay, but actually, I guess depending on your board, they actually might be pretty nice. But I don't think You Have My Bow is really great in this spot. You don't really need the attack speed. Balanced Budget is kind of okay. It is weaker than the other relative augments here, so I probably wouldn't take it. I'd actually probably reroll it here. Capricious Forge as well. Get a Blacksmith Glove and 2 temporary Ornn artifacts. This is actually one of the stronger gold augments, at least what I can tell. Because 2 Ornn augments, or 2 artifacts, is pretty fucking nutty. But unfortunately, we don't really have a secondary carry of any type here. I could argue the fact that you could take Forge here for the potential Tristana, which we'll talk about why you're going to want to 3-star her. But you can also reroll here. You'd probably reroll the You Have My Bow, reroll the Balanced Budget here. All that Shimmers could be okay to farm extra gold, but some of the Shimmer items have been warped a little bit and changed, so I don't know if I would take it in this spot in particular. A lot of the interactions are very new though, so you might want to take it. For example, Determined Investor, if you remember it from set 7, you used to be able to take the Determined Investor, slam it on a unit, and then pop it off every single round and then play around with it. You can't do that anymore. Once you slam it, you've slammed it. So just be careful with that. Don't make the mistake that I did. Long Distance Palisades as well is probably the only takeable augment from this spot. Balanced Budget is okay, but again, I would probably re-roll it. I actually really like Know Your Enemy. I think it's really great. It's an augment that once you kill the first unit, your units do bonus 25% extra damage. So it does a lot of damage, and I actually would have taken it from this spot. He takes Long Distance Pal, which we should probably read it as well, which is your 2 furthest champions form a bond sharing 35% of their armor, magic resist, AD, and AP with each other. So this augment is only good if your front line and your back line are like really, really strong carries that you really want to be playing around. But as we will see, This augment actually makes a lot of sense in this comp in particular in terms of this new Reroll Taliyah board in the new Stoner Taliyah. Why does this make any sort of sense? Well, it actually makes sense because the idea is that you actually want a 3-star Poppy, 3-star Tristana, and then you want to push level 6 and then look for the rest of your Taliyahs at level 6 and roll for 3-star Taliyah, maybe even a 3-star Teemo. So, why? Right? What's the point? Well, Yordles, the way that it works as of right now, at the time of recording this video, Yordles, when you have 3-3-stars on your board, your strongest Yordle, when you have 3 Yordles active, will become a 4-star unit. Do you see where I'm going with this? So, what 4-star Yordle could we possibly want in this Reroll Taliyah board, in the Stoner Taliyah board? Well, you'd probably want a unit who knocks people up. And guess who does that? Poppy 4. And Poppy 3 actually knocks up units as well, but it's not as prevalent as well. And as we can see here, Juku is actually really, really low. He's at 29 HP at 3-3. He's incredibly low. But once I've noticed with this board, you hit the 4-star Poppy, meaning you 3-starred at least 3 of your units. So the Taliyah, the Poppy +1, it's usually Tristana. Once you hit the Taliyah, Tristana, and Poppy 3-starred, this board just skyrockets and goes infinite. And it's actually so fucking cool watching the interactions here. We're going to see here, he's probably going to roll down and try to hit everything that he wants. He actually does end up hitting the 3-star Maokai here, which I don't remember him playing that at all, to be completely honest. But nonetheless, I digress. He's going to keep going here, rolling, looking for the 3-star Poppy as well. Doesn't manage to hit. That's okay. He had like 80 gold to roll. It's a little difficult to hit. But the idea here is that I don't think the Maokai is actually correct. The 3-star Maokai. You could argue that he's so low that he needs to 3-star 3 units ASAP, so he'll play the 3-star Maokai, and then he'll 3-star Taliyah, and then take off the Maokai. But you're like, oh, but it's also 3-star Maokai. It's a very tanky unit. Why would you want to take off of it? You want to play Demacia at a certain point. And Demacia gives very little armor and MR. It's not a very tanky trait, but it's really, really good because it offers a radiant item to your strongest Demacia unit, and that will almost always be this 3-star Poppy. Or rather, sorry, 4-star Poppy. So, 4-star Poppy, as you can see, is finally online with the Maokai 3 and the Taliyah 2, and his board has stabilized, but again, he's 17 HP. And you might be looking at this going, well, this doesn't look very good, because he's 17 HP. There's no way he's going to be able to win out with this board. I'm not going to spoil anything, but you'd be kind of surprised. This board sort of plays out very similarly to Lulu Reroll, if you remember Lulu Reroll from set 8, from the previous set, where you basically sacrifice like all your HP to hit all your 3-stars, and then once your Lulu 3 is online, your Pantheon 3 was online, with the Ionic Spark, yada yada yada, and the supers, you're basically able to go like infinite. You basically win out, and if your augments were good, you just won the game. It was actually insane. So here, as we can see, he actually techs off again the 3. He techs off the 3-star Maokai here, techs in 3 Demacia because the radiant item on the 4-star Poppy is much, much stronger and much, much more efficient to have on your board than having this 3-star Maokai. So you can see he's kind of elated, jumps out of his seat here because he hits everything here. And this board is so fucking cool. You get the multicaster from Teemo, you get the 4-star Poppy as well. Infinite fucking damage. It's just such a cool board to have. Here we get the money augment from Tom Kench, gain 22 gold, and in 4 trades gain 22 gold again, essentially just 44 gold. It's like Windfall but slightly worse. You also have Lucky Gloves, which will give you the whatever. He's got a lot of TG augments for whatever reason. Definitely not taking it from the spot. Blinding Speed, also don't really want to take it, but it's kind of okay if you want to itemize the Tristana. I've noticed itemizing the Tristana as well, especially with a Shiv, is really, really nice for this board. But I digress. You could definitely... I said I digress, goddammit. That's... I don't know, sorry. The I digress shit is just a meme on my channel at this point. Tactician's Tool, sorry, rerolls. Probably going to reroll Blinding Speed as well. If he misses a good augment here, though, you definitely take money from this spot. There's nothing else you could really take, to be completely honest. But he's looking at his options here. Potentially a Fawn, actually. So actually, the Fawn is not even bad. Actually, you might even want the Fawn over this. Ancient Archives 2. Nothing you really want in particular. Maybe the Demacia emblems. Maybe the Multicaster emblems. But money just seems to be the safer option here. It's basically Windfall, but slightly worse. Nonetheless, very, very nice. So here, now, our board seems to just be stabilized here. And we're kind of chilling. This is sort of the play. Really, like, at this point, you just sort of start win streaking. It's very difficult for anybody to beat your board because it is way too strong. There's actually a very funny counter, though, to this board, which is Rise. And I'm trying to remember the exact realm in which this occurs in, because Rise's ability, as you may know, changes based off the region and the realm that we are in. But if I just go over my notes real quick, I can probably find it. But basically, on one particular region, Rise will ascend a unit. I found it. Here you go. In Targon. So if the region is Targon, keep this in mind. But basically, Rise will just levitate a unit into the fucking air. It's like Zephyr, but better. And then he'll throw them down into your backline. But what this means is basically your frontline will get Zephyred, and then you don't have a frontline anymore. And then the problem is that if they ascend and there's no other units on the board, Rise will just kill the unit. So actually, Rise is this very interesting counter, not only the 4-star Poppy frontline. I have to get used to saying 4-star. Not only just for the 4-star Poppy frontline, but also just for any like 3-star 5 cost in general. So if your opponent actually has a Rise on their board, and you have sold your entire board and you have like 3-star 5 cost, that Rise can actually counter your board, which is a really, really interesting interaction to have. Here, as we can see, we are level 7 now. We have pushed levels into a Cassante, which we managed to get off the carousel. And you may be wondering, like, what are the items that we're looking for this Taliyah at this point? Because we're 2 out of 3. Rabadon's GS, which is a very, very great synergy, by the way. But Rabadon's GS, what are we going to do for our final item? Well, we're probably going to be looking for a blue buff. Taliyah really benefits from having the blue buff. She just gets to knock more units up in the air, and more knockups means that she gets to cast more with her passive, which is really, really cool. Again, Poppy here doing a lot of the legwork and just pumping up all the units into the air. She basically is the cast. Sorry, I don't know if anyone could tell me Poppy's pronouns. I'd appreciate it. But as you can see, Poppy just keeps knocking up units, and you just keep knocking up units. Jukyu's on a 5 streak here, and what's crazy about this board is that once you've hit the 3 stars, the Tristana, the Poppy, and the Taliyah, you can just fast 9. You can basically just fast 9. Maybe you can roll a little bit on 8 to find some other units as well. But, I mean, this board is just so fucking cool. It's so fucking strong. It's so, so fun. Here, as we can see, he gets the extra gold as well because of his augment. He is now sitting at 88 gold at level 7. It's 4-7. He's basically matched back up to the tempo of the lobby, which, by the way, at the time of recording this video, EXP changes have become a thing on the PvE servers, where the EXP changes, I'm not a fan of them, to be honest. For those of you who don't know, it is now more expensive to go level 6, level 7, level 8, and level 9. So level 6 costs now 6 more gold to go from level 6 to level 7, 7 more gold to go from 7 to 8, 8 more gold to go from 8 to 9. Sorry, what? Sorry, 6 more gold to go from 5 to 6, 7 more gold to go from 6 to 7, 8 more gold to go from 7 to 8, and then 10 more gold to go from 8 to 10. There we go. That's correct. At the time of recording this video. A lot of people are very antsy about these changes, and there's a couple of reasons why. One of the main reasons is because the standard intervals, so for example, leveling to level 6 on 3-2 now feels bad. And why does it feel bad? It's because when you do the math and you pump your levels, you might realize that you're spending 2 extra gold to go to level 6, instead of it being a perfect interval where you don't have any sort of overflow with your experience and you have 2 gold just sitting in your XP bar for fun. Not a big fan of it. Also, just the fact that it makes it hard to go level 8 is really, like, it's a lot harder to go level 8 actually at this point. And in fact, level 8 now is almost a bit of a luxury. And I'm a little worried that at a certain point, it might get to a point where, like, hey, like, level 8 is so difficult to hit that, like, you actually want an econ augment if you want to go level 8. And then on top of that, like, once you're level 8, because it costs so much to get there, then you have to roll down. It's like, dude, like, how are you going to be able to get all your upgrades as well once you're level 8? So it kind of promotes this weird level 7 culture of trying to roll on 7 instead of 8. It's a little unhealthy. It's a little weird because some people will hit their 2-star 4 cost and some won't on level 7 because the odds are just kind of weird. They're not good enough that you can reliably hit the 2 stars, but they're not bad enough that you will like find the 4 costs you're looking for. So it's really weird, and I don't know if I'm a fan of it. I don't like the idea of rolling on 7 for 4 cost units, especially for 4 cost upgrades. It feels really, really bad. But I digress. Let me know what you think. God damn it. I said I digress again. Sorry. But nonetheless, okay, you know what I've realized also? Is that I say nonetheless, like, when I say I digress. I've realized I've accidentally made this mental bridge between the two because they're synonyms. So, listen, man. If you've ever tried commentating for like half an hour straight, bro, and you're trying to keep a variety of words and vocabulary to keep things interesting and nice. Ooh, it's your job. Shouldn't you be good at this thing? I'm trying, bro. It's hard. It's hard. The English language has only so many filler words and only so many synonyms that you can provide to adds this interesting commentary full of colorful words to describe what's going on in the situation. Anyways, I digress. The point is, let's get back to the game. Let's talk a little bit less about me. Talk about, let's focus on the board here, okay? We're dealing with a very cool board, okay? We have a 10 win streak, 17 HP, by the way. We've been winning out this entire time. Taliyah 3, 5 Demacia, level 9. And again, even though with these XP changes in here, we've been able to streak this entire time and push quite the lead. Now, we are down to 1 HP because, I don't know, this other guy's board's really strong. But on top of that, you might notice as well, we actually have a couple of shitters on our board. We have a Cassiopeia, which is a 1 cost, Galio 1, which is a 2 cost, Quesante 1, which is a legendary, but it is a 1-star, and Demacia 1, or sorry, J4 1. So, we're lacking a bit of upgrades on this front, and I think what Juki wanted to do was to just make sure that he could go one more round, get the interest from the neutrals, and then start rolling down. Unfortunately, that greed did cost him quite a bit of HP. He is down to 1 life, but nonetheless, he's able to find his upgrades, find the Galio 2, Jarvan 2. Cassiopeia is still really awkward to have on his board, because it is, I believe, what is it giving him? It gives him Invoker, and Shurima as well. So Invoker Shurima, which is nice. And the Shurima is actually really nice as well because it actually provides Taliyah with this Ascend bonus, which is really great with Shurima. But it's sort of not worth playing this Cassiopeia 1 on your board just for the trait bot. So it's very likely you might switch it out for a different Shurima unit. Probably Azir, because it gives strategists as well. So you're actually at 3 strategists instead. So you have a little more frontline with the shields and a little more AP for your backline. So that's probably the way to go instead of this Cassiopeia. But nonetheless, he doesn't seem to value it as much as having Invoker. I disagree. I think the 3 strategies is just better overall. The flat AP bonus on your backline carries, especially on the Taliyah, is probably the best way to go about it. You might be also wondering why his positioning is so wonky, because you might notice it's kind of like this. It's kind of like a parallelogram, right? And he's positioned like this because the idea is that he wants to maximize the amount of value he gets out of his best friend's augment. Again, with best friends, his Taliyah becomes extra strong, and his Poppy becomes extra strong, but the positioning gets very wonky. It gets very weird, and you might notice that, like, because he's cornered on the right side, it's actually very easy for the units to wrap onto the Taliyah in case the Jarvan and the Galio die. But as we can see here, his Poppy just keeps getting knocked up. His Taliyah is starting to get pumped down because of the Goldenator, or rather the Heimerdinger turret, and Poppy will not be able to win out here, and it is a top 4. It is a 3rd place, actually. He's able to win out and sneak away with a 3rd. But, dude, nonetheless, though, like, it's not a first. It's not a first. And I think part of it was because of best friends, and he couldn't hit enough upgrades. And actually, I think on level 8, you should be rolling down instead of 9. I think fast 9 is a little troll. But, dude, this board is so cool, man. It's such a cool board. I highly recommend going to play it. I am going to be forcing this almost every single day. It is my favorite board by far. Please have fun with it, and I hope you guys learned something. Take care, guys, and happy climbing.